Well, this morning is a general session where I want to talk about this issue of Noah's flood and the age of the earth being the crucial watershed issue in this origins debate. And it's the reason why this is a crucial issue to discuss in our apologetics, and arm ourselves and equip ourselves to answer the challenges of the age that we face. Let's define the problem. We often are told that evolution is happening so slowly today that we can't see it happening. Have you heard that? I mean, we don't see fish growing legs and becoming frogs, and so they say, well, we don't see it happening today because it's happening so slowly. So let's define our terms, because you see, the term evolution is actually misused so very much. If someone says to you, I can see evolution is happening, I believe in evolution, you should ask them, what do you mean by evolution? Because so often what they mean is different varieties of dogs or different varieties of finches on the Galapagos Islands. You know, big beaks, little beaks. And on the Galapagos Islands, you have finches with big beaks and little beaks, but they're still finches, aren't they? They haven't changed into something else. And so you have to ask people, what do you mean by evolution? Well, they're talking about small changes in living things. But they're trivial, aren't they? And they're only within what we call the biblical kinds, because the Bible doesn't talk about species, it talks about the kinds. And so you've got the dog kind, you've got the cat kind, and there's lots of variation. In fact, God made things with such amazing ability to vary because he just loves varieties. I mean, look at all the flowers that we can enjoy, the different animals that we enjoy. You know, you've got your favourite pet dog, and I've got my favourite pet dog, and God has given us all this variety so that we can enjoy his creation. But those small changes are not evolution. And we agree that there are small changes happening today. So what we really mean by the term evolution, or what they try to extrapolate from the small changes, is the big changes, okay? Because the real idea of evolution is those big changes where life developed spontaneously, we're told, from nothing. Matter came from nowhere and chemicals combined to form life, and the first cell developed through time via these big changes, new body plans. The body plan of a fish changing to the body plan of a frog, changing to the body plan. So, you know, those are the big changes that evolution is really all about. So we call that molecules to man evolution. That's why it's so important to ask people to define what they mean by evolution, because then you can agree with them that small changes do happen, but push the argument over to molecules to man, the big changes, which we don't see happening today. So we definitely cannot see these required big changes. We don't see fish growing legs to become amphibians, or the lungs and scales of a reptile becoming the lung and feathers of a bird. We do not see those changes. So how do the evolutionists cope with this problem? Because it is a real problem to them when they don't see the big changes that they require. Well, there's two escape mechanisms that they use. And this is why this issue of the age of the earth is important, because the first mechanism that is to overcome this fatal problem to their molecules to man idea is this one, the fossil record. They appeal to the fossil record, saying it contains examples of the needed in-between kinds or transitional forms. So they can't see fish growing legs and becoming frogs today, but maybe it happened in the past, and the fossil record is supposed to be a record of past life. Well, it's not really, actually. It's a burial mound. It's a graveyard of dead things. And when you look at the fossils, you don't see a living environment. All you see is a graveyard. It all depends on your perspective, your glasses. With biblical glasses, it's abundant evidence of Noah's flood, all the billions of dead things buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth. And so they appeal to the fossil record to provide these missing links or transitional forms. So, for example, they point to fragments of incomplete fossilised skeletons. Of course, they're missing the soft parts. You don't always see the anatomy or other crucial features. And so they point to these incomplete fossilised skeletons as transitional creatures. I mean, there was a big hoo-ha recently about a fossil called Ida, wasn't there? A lemur-like creature that was supposed to be on the branch leading up to monkeys and ape-like creatures and man. And there was a lot of fanfare about it. But you see, have you kept on hearing about that fossil? No, after the first few days of fanfare, it all died away. Because you see, what happens is that these missing links are incomplete and fragmentary. They're missing vital details, and you don't find these transitions. They hope and believe that these transitional forms will eventually be found. They hope and believe, and that's why when they find something, they hail it with great fanfare, and then it's later relegated to false hope. And of course, that's what happened with Ida, because even the scientific community said that all the hoo-ha and fanfare was unjustified. And that repeats. Just wait another 6 months and they'll announce some new fossil, and everyone gets all excited, and that's designed to make the public think that they've found the missing link, they've found the transitional form. Well, they haven't. See, Charles Darwin admitted in 1859, why then is not every geological formation, every stratum full of such intermediate links? Geology assuredly does not reveal any such finely graduated organic chain. And this perhaps is the most obvious and serious objection which can be urged against the theory. The explanation lies, as I believe, says Darwin, in the extreme imperfection of the geologic record. Notice what he's saying? We can't find them, therefore we haven't yet found enough fossils, and just maybe we're not digging in the right place, and it's only a chance accident that a fossil might be formed, and therefore the geologic record is imperfect. Well, that was 1859. Stephen Jay Gould, the late Stephen Jay Gould from Harvard University, admitted in 1977, all paleontologists know that the fossil record contains precious little in the way of intermediate forms. Transitions between major groups are characteristically abrupt. What does he mean by that? You don't find those missing links. And that makes sense from a biblical perspective, because this creature was buried and then that creature was buried. Stephen Gould also said in 1980, the absence of fossil evidence for intermediary stages between major transitions in organic design, indeed our inability, even in our imagination, to construct functional intermediates in many cases has been a persistent and nagging problem for gradualistic accounts of evolution. What's he saying? We can't even imagine what they look like. Elsewhere he said, what use is half a wing or half a jaw? I mean, a creature that's got legs changing into wings can neither walk well nor fly very well, so natural selection will eliminate it. End of story. And David Raup, when he wrote in 1979, well, we are now about 120 years after Darwin, and the knowledge of the fossil record has been greatly expanded. The record of evolution is still surprisingly jerky, and ironically, we have even fewer examples of evolutionary transition than we had in Darwin's time. How many did Darwin have? None. So that's not a very good case, is it? Some of the classic cases of Darwinian change in the fossil record have had to be discarded or modified as a result of more detailed information. So you see, they've got a flimsy case, haven't they? And yet they keep on trumpeting these new fossils as if they're going to provide the missing link. Colin Patterson was quoted in Luther Sunderland's book from a letter that he'd written in answer to questions. He'd published a book on evolution, And this is what he commented. I fully agree with your comments on the lack of direct illustration of evolution transitions in my book. If I knew of any, fossil or living, I would certainly have included them. Yet Gould and the American Museum people are hard to contradict when they say there are no transitional forms. I will lay it on the line. There is not one such fossil for which one could make a watertight argument. You see, the scientists who are in the know, who are the ones who study the fossils, when you really talk to them, they will admit the problems they have in substantiating their claims about macroevolution, molecules to man, and the evidence in the fossil record. Well, as Mark Ridley says, paleontologists disagree about the speed and pattern of evolution, but they do not, as much as recent publicity has implied, doubt that evolution is a fact. It's based on no evidence, but it's a fact. I'd call it a faith. The evidence for evolution simply does not depend on the fossil record. Oh, that's interesting news. We've all been told it depends on these fossils. In any case, no real evolutionist, whether gradualist or punctualist, uses the fossil record as evidence in favour of the theory of evolution as opposed to special creation. Well, tell that to the college and high school students, because the fossils are always trumpeted as the supposed evidence for evolution. So that's escape mechanism number one. But what's escape mechanism number two? Here it is, millions of years. Because you see, they say what you don't see happening today, given enough time, it probably happens. See, they appeal to these supposed millions of years to have produced what we can't see happening today, even though all that supposed geological time has not preserved any transitional fossils. There's an arm waving. We can't see it happening today, but go to the geologists, and there's been plenty of time, and just maybe it happened in all those millions of years. And so you can see why the millions of years are important. In fact, time is regarded as the hero of the plot. Evolution is firmly built on the millions of years scenario, because without enough time, evolution is impossible. And we have to respond by saying there is no time. There is no time. Therefore, evolution is impossible. It never happened. See, this is exactly why this millions of years age issue is the pivotal and central issue that we face today. It's the battleground, even sadly, amongst Christians. So many Christian academics I meet, this is the issue. They say, all right, I don't believe in evolution, but I believe in an old earth. They do not stand on the authority of God's word that the record we have is that the earth is young and there was a global catastrophic flood year-long that produced all the fossils. They won't give ground to evolution, but they compromise on the age issue. What they don't realise is evolution and millions of years go hand in hand, and ultimately they are compromising with evolution. The late George Wald, who was a professor at Harvard University, wrote this in Scientific American. This was back in 1954. Time is, in fact, the hero of the plot. The time which we have to deal with is the order of 2 billion years. By the way, since 1954, the age of the Earth has expanded to 4.5 billion years. What we regard as impossible on the basis of human experience is meaningless here. Given so much time, the impossible becomes possible, the possible probable, and the probable virtually certain. One has only to wait. Time itself performs the miracles. You see what great faith the evolutionist has? I mean, we have a reasonable faith that is rooted in God's word. Who has the more reasonable faith? Well, the Apostle Peter